actually there is a great question, and I get this question a lot of times. I even spoke about this on my segment. I know you do a fantastic podcast. I spoke about this on my segment. What are some of the things we can do to eliminate worry? And I know you've given me 4 minutes to speak, so I'll do my best to get this done in 4 to 5 minutes. See, all of us go through some hard times. All of us go through some good times. In fact, worry is so powerful that it can affect our mental state, and when that happens, it affects our physical state. And you're not in a position to continue what you're doing in order to achieve that success, whether it be in your business, whether it be in your life, whether it be in your career. And on a day-to-day basis, when you're constantly worrying, you're not at your 100%, you're not functioning at your 100%. So what's going on in your head will affect you mentally and physically. And I say this, sometimes worry is even more lethal than the actual problem itself. Remember the time, or the time you sat back and there was a challenge in front of you and you go, hey, I can't do that. Not possible, impossible to do that. I'm sure you had those times. I'm sure some of your audiences had those times where you believed you couldn't do that. It's not possible. You start limiting yourself and holding yourself back, that you don't end up achieving that. But when you go through that challenge and all of a sudden you say, hey, you know what, let's give it a go. And when you go through a challenge and you absolutely put yourself heart and soul into it, and you think to yourself, and you've completed 100%, even more than that, you start to think to yourself, hey, that wasn't that hard. I didn't realize that was easy to do, or it was not that challenging, if I can put it that way. So sometimes worry is more lethal than the actual problem itself. And you stress, remember those nights where you stress about something and you can't sleep and constantly stressing about it. You wake up and you're ready to go to work or your business and you're thinking, how am I going to get through this? What am I going to do? And you're constantly worrying about it. And all of a sudden the problem is fixed. And you go, what? Really? I'm sure you remember some of those times. So worry can do a lot of damage. And a lot of times people don't want to show that. And I'll give you 4 steps that can help you with the worry itself. So I'm not talking about the pandemic. I'm not talking about what's going on right now. I'm not talking about the coronavirus. Life still goes on no matter what. We still have to pay our bills. Individuals still go through marriage breakdowns, stress, worry in their life, in their business, in their career. And now, to add on to that, we have the pandemic that's come along, the coronavirus. And how are we going to maintain that productive thinking? What are some of the things we need to do to maintain that productive thinking in these times, in challenging times? One is, I say this, and a lot of successful people have learning from a lot of successful people and how they go about this. And some of the steps I've put together is, one is, don't waste time complaining, blaming, and faulting others for your mistakes. What's the point? Does blame actually fix anything? Absolutely not. Does not fix anything. You rather focus on yourself than rather playing that blame game, if you know what I mean. See, a lot of times people blame, the environment, blame, the parents, blame their subordinates, they blame their friends, they blame everything. This was wrong, that was wrong, everything else, everything around them was wrong, but themselves. But don't blame themselves. And they focus on that for 15, 20, 30, 40 years in their life. And what state are they to achieve what they want in life? Absolutely. So, don't play the blame game and stop complaining and blaming others for your mistakes. Move forward. And this is when you learn from some of the successful people who have achieved what they wanted in life. What they've wanted in life is because they stopped playing the blame game and they started moving forward and looking and focusing on themselves in what they want to achieve. Yes, if you're talking about the coronavirus, after the crisis, we can sit down and talk about how we can do things better. Yes, we can come up with some solutions so this does not happen again. But we need to stop blaming people for our mistakes. Number 2 is, don't react, give yourself a break. You know, sometimes they say, well, Ryan, you are an absolute this, and Ryan will jump up and go, hey, you don't speak to me like that, and you react. I mean, you react, you just let yourself down. Absolutely. You're not thinking straight. You make a lot of mistakes, and sometimes there's no coming back from it. Take a step back, and I put this in one word called restoration. And the reason it's called restoration is because you give yourself a bit of rest before you come back stronger. Don't react to things. You know your limitations. Focus on your strengths. And come back after a rest. And repeat those things. And don't make some rash, because in that moment of reacting, you make some rash decisions and some challenging decisions that it does not allow you to come back a lot of times. So always don't react. Don't react to what is said, or don't react to when someone says something that is inappropriate. Think to yourself, you're a better person than that. So give yourself a break and coming back, because a lot of times through these reactions, your emotions are spinning and you're not thinking straight. And that is the absolute key, is you need to give yourself a break. And that's why I talk about restoration. I always say, put the past behind. The past is the past. It's not coming back. And you need to start, if the way you are thinking is not changing anything, then you need to change your thinking. And that is the key. So I'll say it again. If the way you're thinking is not changing anything at all, then you need to change the way you think. Number 3 is become solution orientated. You need to train your mind. Some people will go through a challenge, or will go through a problem and start to think about a solution all the time and say, how can I fix this? What are some of the things I need to do to fix it? While others will think about the challenge and just walk away, because they don't want to go through that. They don't want to resolve that challenge or that issue. So become solution oriented, and this is where people achieve that success in whatever they do in life, is because they become solution oriented. You need to train your mind. Absolutely. So again, when I talk about don't react, when I talk about don't waste time on complaining, is you need to train your mind. And that again, like I said, this thing I do probably in an hour's workshop where I can talk about this a lot more, but I'm just giving you some steps here. Some people, as an employee, if I can give you an example, as an employer, I'm not looking for people that will give me problems or challenges. I'm looking for people that are solution oriented, who I can rely on and say, hey, you know what? Ryan can fix this. I know he can fix this. And those are the problems. That's what an employee is looking for. They're not looking for someone that would bring them problems constantly. What happens in an organization or in a business, as a matter of fact, if someone is hired and they're constantly being a challenge for the organization, constantly there's no solutions, they're not becoming solution oriented, they move them on, right? Absolutely. People will get tired of you. So you need to become solution oriented, need to train your mind. That's step number 3. And step number 4 is you can't control what's out of your control. And what do I mean by that is, let's take the coronavirus as an example. The coronavirus, this is out of my control. Yes, I can control things like I can wash my hands, I sanitize my hands, I can use the social distancing, and I can work from home. I can do these things, but I can't control what the media is putting out there. I can't control what's happening on Fox News, on CNN. I can't control what's happening on Channel 9, Channel 10. There's a lot of bad stuff, or there's a lot of challenges happening out there. I can't control that, but what I can control, I can control what I do to help with the virus that's happening out here by doing the things I want to do. You need to know your limitations and focus on your strengths, and that is the absolute key. When you know your limitations and you focus on your strengths, you get to another level of success. For example, if it's raining out there, and I know it's raining out there at this point in time, if it's raining out there, I can't control if it's raining out there. I can't control if it's thunder or there's lightning. Well, what I can do is, if it's raining out there, I can use an umbrella to get from point A to point Z by walking with an umbrella. Absolutely. I can decide to move forward and do something, or I can sit at home and do nothing. Absolutely. So, just a simple scenario I'd like to give you. Correct what you can correct and be the best version of yourself. And I constantly say this. You have to correct what you can correct and be the best version of yourself. And constantly, again, training your mind to do this. So these 4 things, and I know you want to cut it short quickly, but in these 4 things I want to just quickly go through is, Tom, is to maintain productive thinking and eliminating worry. Don't waste time on complaining. 2 is don't react. Give yourself a break. Restoration, when I spoke about that. 3 is become solution orientated. You got to train your mind. And 4 is you can't control what's out of your control. You can only control what's in your control. I hope I've got through a little bit on this, and your listeners took some of these notes. Now, I'm a simple man. I believe in the simple things. I don't like to overcomplicate things. And these are some of the things I've, over the last 8 to 9 years, speaking to a lot of successful people, found out some of the simple methods to be able to eliminate that worry. And the key to that is the most powerful thing is your mind, and you've got to train your mind to do that. And that is the key. So I hope I got through a little bit on this. And look, feel free to throw out some questions on this forum, on Facebook, and I'm happy to answer the questions if I can answer these questions.